Interestingly enough, this truck broke down on me before the first oil change. Can you imagine that you pay nearly $70,000 for a pickup truck and it doesn't even make it to the first oil change?
There's a YouTuber named Jose who has a channel here on YouTube called The Southern Life. He's got a pretty big channel, about 250,000 subscribers, and he does most of his video recording in the Sarasota area of Florida, Tampa, but you get the picture. He does a lot of urban vlogging, a lot of interviews, rent prices, but Jose has the misfortune of purchasing a GM Sierra 1500 2.7 turbo. Beautiful red truck that actually has cat skin leather interior. It looks gorgeous, but you know what they say, you can put lipstick on a pig. But Jose's had nothing but problems with this GM. And you don't have to look far. If you just go online on Facebook or Reddit, you do see that a lot of other people were having problems with this American brand called GM, with Chevy or whatever vehicles that GM potentially sells. Now, Jose's had nothing but problems. So over 2 years ago, there was a dealership, which I won't name, he could name, but there was a dealership that sold Jose this truck. He had nothing but problems.
Big dealerships are a bunch of scumbags. They know their products are garbage, but then they want to pretend like it's the customer's fault.
Now, you would think that Jose would have learned his lesson, but he had a Silverado that he had issues, and before just a few thousand miles, he had to return it back to the American Silverado dealership because he was having problems. He didn't learn his lesson, so he got another American car, and he did get this GM Sierra. A lot of people in the comment section said, hey, you should buy a Toyota, you know, why didn't you get a Tundra? But Jose was very convincing to say, hey, I didn't like the Tundra when I first looked at it. There's some issues with the interior. But when Jose got this truck, before his first oil change, he started having problems with the dashboard going out.
And I hadn't even made my first truck payment, and already the dash went blank, a problem that still happens to this day.
It would flicker, sometimes turn off, and then the display would kind of be fuzzy. So he thought that was strange. He took it in to the dealership, and they supposedly fixed it. Then he had started having problems with the engine, so they replaced the cams and the lift in his engine. It kept making a lot of rattling noises, and then there was like oil leaks.
Is that it consumes oil. There's no reason why I should be having to put oil in a truck that's 2 years old.
And then he had an issue with the transmission where it would jerk when he start.
Riding down the interstate at 70 miles an hour. Look what the transmission's doing. It goes up, it goes down. We got cruise control set at 70 miles an hour.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Just go on his channel. He's documented. This guy's a vlogger. He vlogs every day. So if anything's going to be documented with this truck, he has documented it all the way through. So he's had issues with the rattling noises coming from both the axles.
And it's got another noise coming from over here. It's coming from over here.
Just a bunch of rattling, like I said, oil issues. He's taken it back to the dealership, and fortunately for Jose, or we thought, he had an extended warranty. And that's supposed to cover everything, from the wheels, everything. But as Jose has learned, just because you get an extended warranty doesn't mean that GM is going to actually fix anything.
This truck, I did pay for a 100,000 mile warranty, which is still vigilant. That the warranty company practically doesn't exist from what I understand. They're not doing, I mean, they don't care. This truck is still under 100,000 mile complete warranty. The problem is that the dealership refuses to fix the truck.
So Jose through the dealership got a third-party warranty. However, Jose's warranty with GM completely did run out.
No, General Motors didn't sell you an extended warranty. But your warranty with General Motors for the powertrain and for the bumper-to-bumper is expired. That's right here. So
Okay, the car has a 100,000 mile warranty that when I bought it, they sold it to me.
So that extended warranty is not a guarantee. It's a black and white contract. They cover certain failures, correct?
The electrical issue started when I first bought the truck. And then they haven't fixed it since. It's had the problem since before the first oil change, and they haven't fixed it, brother.
He was trying to go back to the extended warranty that would not be honored for some reason. Jose was determined to make this thing work. He loved this vehicle, and he was trying to fight through it. He liked it because it would sit high up off the ground. He had a back problem, he had a back injury, so he wanted something to go up. Now he did own like a Toyota Camry that he ran into the ground, and he needed something nice that he could be sitting up high, you know, overseeing. He would sometimes vlog with a lot of people, pick up people from the streets and interview them. So he wanted something nice to show, something that was flashy. His wife was a realtor, so his wife wanted something nice to show housing in the Bradenton, Sarasota area. Check out their business. But he wanted something nice and something that was dependable for him and his wife to drive. So that's one reason why he wanted this vehicle. And I think he was using cognitive dissonance. You know, when the dashboard problem happened, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to try to live with this. But then I think more problems started happening. Now that we're over 2 years since he's owned this truck, he's reaching the 100,000 mile, and after that, that warranty comes out. So what he has decided to do is just let this vehicle sit until GM will actually correct the issue and get it fixed. Hired a lemon attorney. He has hired other attorneys to try to get this fixed, but supposedly the dealership has given them the runaround. They've offered Jose $4,000. Then they offered him $12,000, which was pretty reasonable. Now Jose bought this truck for $70,000. When you added all the bells and whistles with the extended warranty, it was $60,000, and then with everything said and done, it was $70,000. So he paid a lot of money. But now we're coming close to the $100,000 because he has driven a lot, doing his vlogs and doing business. But now I think he's starting to realize, I'm having all these issues with the engine, with the transmission, the lights on it. He's having all these issues, and now that GM dealer, the warranty wearing out, now he's looking at his extended trash warranty that he bought, and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm about to be stuck with a lemon. What am I going to do? So he hired these attorneys, and they're just basically giving them the runaround. Now Jose has documented, like I said, throughout his videos, the issues. Now I think Jose started getting a little bit angry and started getting a little bit frustrated, so he put on a camera and he would record his interactions with the dealership, and you could see with the dealership that they're trying to lose, they're starting to lose their temper with Jose.
I'm gonna ask, are you recording right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're on private property right now? You don't have
want to go outside?
No, sir. Before we continue, you don't have permission from the company to be recording on private property. You also don't have my permission to be recording you.
They don't like that he's recording, and Jose is being a little bit pushy with the salespeople, and they basically said, hey dude, you can't record here any longer. That is their right, because they are a private business. They don't have to allow you to record on private property. But I think Jose knew this, and I think he was just at his wit's end. He didn't know what to do. So what he thought he was going to do is start document it and maybe push them to buy the vehicle back, which now they're not wanting to do.
This is how scummy GM and their dealerships are. And because of the cost of suing them is so high, they're not even afraid. Right now, we're not going to fix it. You know why their answer was that? They don't care.
Now, I'm not saying that this particular dealership is doing this, but it's kind of like a thing with inertia. When you buy something from anywhere, they're kind of trying to run out the clock. They realize just through time that people will even when they own something, that they realize that they'll start losing their rights and that they'll eventually just live with what they have. And I think Jose's starting to see that this time period is shrinking and completely vanishing, and he's starting to realize it. So that's why I think he started recording, making some people angry. They called the police and they kicked Jose off the property. So Jose believes that if he keeps posting about this, that the dealership will, try to wipe their hands off it, but say, hey, we'll buy it from you, just go away.
The only way you're going to get me to stop making videos about this truck is when you buy it off of me.
And I think that that's what Jose's looking at. But I have commented on his comment section. You need to use your First Amendment rights. You need to get a big poster, right? A nice professional poster. You need to park on the public sidewalk close to the dealership with your truck if possible, and have a big sign saying, this dealership does not honor warranties, or if you buy a GM, you will buy a lemon, according to Jose. All right, if he does that, what's going to happen is they're going to lose business. Do it on a Friday, do it on a Saturday. And if they lose business on one vehicle, on one truck, that would be enough damage for them to be, hey, let's just buy this vehicle and get this guy out of our lives. If they get one person, because you've got to realize, a lot of people don't do shopping online. A lot of people don't watch YouTube. You got a lot of boomers out there that do not watch, will never see Jose's video, never see the light of day. But if he localizes his freedom of speech in that area at that dealership with that sign, and they lose one customer, they lose two customers over the weekend, three customers. Now you're doing real First Amendment work where they could be losing business because of your freedom of speech, and they'll say, hey, come into the office, I want to get rid of you, let me write you a check, let me buy your vehicle back. And that's what he needs to do. Now, I put that in the comment section a couple of times. Unfortunately, Jose didn't agree with that. What he basically said, hey, YouTube is my billboard. That's how, it's the biggest billboard sign, which he's right. But again, a lot of people, especially local in Sarasota, they're wealthy, they don't go on YouTube, they don't care, they're not young, and that will cost this dealership the most amount of business. That's what I think he needs to do. Now, why is Jose having all these problems with GM in general, with GMC? Why is he having problems? Well, if you remember about 16, 17 years ago, when we were going through the housing crisis, when the economy was in a recession, GM was about to go bankrupt because they were too big to fail. Now, I want you to keep in mind, too big to fail. What does that mean? Dinosaurs, were they too big to fail? Yes, that's the reason they're extinct. And some things are meant to go to extinct. But what did our U.S. government do? We wrote them a check for $50 billion to get them out of bankruptcy, so all these jobs supposedly wouldn't be lost or whatever. And I think what happened is it created a monstrosity. It created a monster with this company, in my opinion. And what happens? Some people are getting lemons, and I think that that's a result of it. I think it's a result of us bailing out a company that Darwin's evolution should have taken care of. Now, they could have reorganized through bankruptcy. They could have been bought out from a better company, in my opinion, or they could have maybe gotten out of bankruptcy. But the U.S. tax dollar, we did not need to fund that monstrosity in order to pay for this company to exist. And in my personal opinion, that's why you're seeing a lot of people with problems with lemons, because I don't think that the U.S. government should have put their nose in something that they didn't belong. It should have let them fail. Toyota didn't need to get bailed out because they're a Japanese company. Honda, did Ford need to get bailed out? No, they're an outstanding, phenomenal company. I think this is why you're seeing a lot of problems. I don't know why Jose didn't go with the Toyota Tundra. He said he didn't like the interior. What Jose should do is, if he can get out of this vehicle, he should go with the Ford F-150. That is an American car. Now, Jose believes that he should get American because he's in the South, he lives in the South, and he's vlogging in America, Southern America, and I think that he wants the idea of having an American car. Go with the Ford F-150, a used Ford F-150, or a new, but go with the 2018 Lariat Ford F-150, and that's still a nice vehicle. You can get a good price on it. That vehicle will last you forever if you take care of it. And go with something like that if you want to get an American. I like Jose. I like the Southern Life channel. I enjoy it. I watch every week.
English? No English?
Yo vine a Cuba hace poco, tú sabes, yo estoy tranquilo, papi, no problem, you know?
If you're interested in helping Jose in his plight with GM, or just helping him navigate around this issue, he does have a GoFundMe page, and you can I'll link it in the description. You go check it out. Jose, if you want to know what you can further do, like I said, I think the billboard is a pretty good idea. I put in the description some ideas of what you can do. You can go to the Florida Attorney General. I think that would help. But from what I've researched, it would be better if you actually go to GM and go up to the corporate headquarters and this dealership, I think they wiped their hands out of it. They feel like that their obligation is over, and maybe it is over. So go through GM corporate, and I think that you'll maybe have more success doing that. Maybe contact the Attorney General, and I think you've already done Better Business Bureau. Get a billboard sign. That's one thing I would recommend. But don't get discouraged. Don't let this down. You are a hustler, dude. You are a worker. I've seen this on your channel. You are a hard worker. You're a Cuban American that knows about hard work and work ethic. And I know you'll be able to get out of this situation. And I'll continue to support your channel, watch your channel, and just keep up the good work, dude.
Hi, Anthony Sullivan here, and you need to subscribe to Robert Wilbur's YouTube channel. He'll inspire you like no other. He's persistent, loving, magnificent, and will keep you coming back for more. And smash that like button too while you're at it. OxyClean.